Hi, everybody. This is Marcus of Blind Guardian, and you're watching Rock Tumblers. Stay heavy.
Muy buenas, bienvenidos a una nueva edición de Roctámbulos, de entrevistas Roctámbulos. Yo soy Frank Hernández y hoy estamos acompañados de el gran Marcus Siepen, guitarrista de la agrupación Blind Guardian, que va a estar tocando acá en Sudamérica y específicamente en Argentina muy pronto, así que por eso vamos a estar hablando con él. Welcome, Marcus. How are you? Thank you for your time.
I'm I'm very fine, and you're very welcome. How are you?
Fine, fine, fine. I'm very, very well too. So I'm glad to having you here in Rectangles, of course. And uh, I will start this interview with a thing about the new album. I mean, the first thing I want to tell you is that the God Machine made it into the top five of our year-end list here at Rectangles in
That's
last year,
great.
of course. So I have to say, congrats because you made a great album.
Thank you very much. That's great to hear for us, obviously.
No, it's okay. No, it's a great album. So if you read some fans and some critics, the God Machine is like an before and after for the band for the fans. So I want to ask you if you see it in that way too, like a before and an after.
Um, I've heard people call it a kind of back to the roots album, which
So,
I disagree because it's not back to the roots. What it has, obviously, is a lot of um, old school Blind Guardian elements. All the speed, the heaviness, and the aggression in there is typical old school Blind Guardian. But it's still, to me at least, or to us, I have to say, it sounds like a very modern Blind Guardian album. Because, for example, a song like Destiny or Life Beyond the Spheres, that doesn't have to do anything with old school Blind Guardian. So I wouldn't call it back to the roots. To us, actually, it's just the next logical step. It's when we started working on that album. Whenever we start working, there's no master plan. It's not that we're sitting down and saying, okay, there have to be like 4 fast songs and there has to be a ballad or whatever. We just start writing. The only thing that was obvious for us was that we didn't want to have a big orchestration on there, because after finally releasing the orchestral project, after more than 20 years of working on it,
yeah.
we were done with that for a while, at least, because where do you want to go after releasing an album that only has orchestra plus vocals? You can't go even further into that direction. So for us, it was obvious that we wanted to do something different. And the result was a very heavy, very fast and aggressive album. But yeah, as I was saying, I definitely would not call it old school or back to the roots. It's for me, it's the next logical step. And whatever might follow after that, we'll see after the tour finishes.
Exactly.
So we obviously have no idea about that yet. But so far, we're super happy with how things turned out.
Great. I want to ask you about the last album, of course, The Legacy of the Dark Lands. It was a risk. It was an admirable brave change of direction. Would you try things like that in the future again, or is it was only that album in the orchestral version?
To be honest, I can't say. I mean, obviously, we've been working on that thing forever. The idea for that was born in
Okay.
the mid 90s, 96, 95, something like that. I don't even remember. It was so long ago.
Wow.
Um, we what we really liked doing was working with orchestral stuff. I mean, it already started on like, for example, Nightfall had a Dark Passage, which had a lot of orchestral elements, even though it was just programmed keyboards.
Okay.
And obviously, and then there was silence and all the things that came afterwards. And that's something that we really liked to do and that we still like. And even on the God Machine, there is a song like Secret of the American Gods, which has orchestral elements. It's just not as blown up as some of the songs on the previous albums. But I'm pretty sure we will do something more orchestral in the future again, maybe on one song. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full album. But, working with orchestral elements in heavy music is a lot of fun, and you can do a lot of things. If we would do another full orchestral album without any metal band being present, I don't know. If there are enough ideas for songs, that might happen, but at least there's no plans for anything like this right now.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. The God Machine is more direct, is more easy to understand for the old school fans. I think is what they want. So I want to ask you if this was a plan or it just come out like that.
Just came out like this.
Okay.
So there is never a plan like this. There are exactly 4 people that we try to please with new songs, and that's the 4 of us.
Okay.
And what fans might want, that sounds very arrogant now, but it's not meant in that way. We can't really listen to that because there's so many different eras in the music or in the history of Blind Guardian. So should we try to please? If we try to please the very early fans that like Battalions and Follow, then we piss off everybody else that likes Nightfall or A Night at the Opera. If we please them, then the old school fans are pissed. Yes. So we always try to write the music that we like in that moment, whatever that might be. And with the God Machine, it has been this heavy, aggressive stuff.
Exactly.
And I agree. Obviously, it is more accessible compared to some of the way more complicated stuff and progressive stuff that we did in the past. But it just was what came out of us. It's not that we sat down and said we have to simplify things or we have to be more accessible or more, I don't know what. It's just what happened.
Okay, great. My favorite song is Damnation. So I want to ask you, what is the song you enjoy the most on the album?
It's a tricky question because that usually changes a lot, especially in the touring times. Obviously, we're playing a couple of those songs live in the moment, and I have to say I love them all. From the ones that we're playing live in the moment right now, I would pick Blood of the Elves, I guess, which is just super fun to play. It's very fast, it's very aggressive, and we're playing it pretty early in the set, and fans go crazy, which is a very nice thing.
Great.
But for example, we're not playing Live Beyond the Spheres in the moment live. I don't know if we will at some point, but from the songs on the album, this is one of my absolute favorites.
Okay.
I just love this song. And the tricky thing about favorite songs and stuff like this is ask me the same question tomorrow and you will probably get a different answer because it always depends on the mood that you're in the moment.
Yeah.
But, from the live songs in the moment, I'll pick Blood of the Elves, and from the album in general, I'll pick Live Beyond the Spheres.
Okay. So talking about the set list in the tour, I want to ask you, when you are creating the set list, we know you cannot include all the new songs, but what is the criteria for choosing which new songs to play? Is something statistics or what?
No, it's just putting together a set list is a very tricky thing because all the songs that you choose in the end have to work together. And sometimes, there's a song that you would like to play, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of the stuff that you want to play. So it's always trying to find a balance.
Okay.
We were focusing on faster songs from the new album this time. So what we're playing right now is 3 very fast songs. Plus, we started playing Secrets of the American God now to balance it a bit.
Okay.
Which is a lot of
Great.
fun. And obviously we try to play at least 3 or 4 songs from the new album, because obviously that's the God Machine tour. So we want to present that album. But we also don't want to overdo it, because, I mean, we are aware of the fact that people also want to hear the classics.
Of course.
So there's, on top of that, there are some songs that we want to play because we didn't play them in a very long time, or maybe we never played them or whatever. So it's always tricky to find the right set list. What we normally do, and what we did this time again, is we prepare more songs than we actually play during a gig, so we can change the set list a bit every now and then.
Oh, great.
So normally there are 1 or 2 songs we change every day. And obviously there are constant ones that will be played every single time. And I can already tell you there are a couple of songs that we prepared that we have not played at all yet on this tour. So there will be some new additions that only enter the set once we continue next week. So we're trying to always come up with a couple of surprises every now and then.
Okay, that's great, because the people are always looking for the set list in another countries, so they can expect something. But if you add something, it's like a great surprise.
Yeah, so there are a couple of songs we haven't played yet, and we will start playing them soon. So
yeah, I heard that for the God Machine, you had almost 50 songs, but only 9 made it onto the album. So I heard that those songs left out were more complex musically. Is that true? More progressive or something?
They were different. Some were a bit more complex. What they all had in common is they didn't fit stylistically, or they would have interrupted the flow that the God Machine has now.
Okay, yeah.
So we were playing around with those songs. At some point, we decided to keep them for some other time, whatever that means. I don't know yet. They might end up on the next album. We might put out an EP. We might just release them individually. I have no idea yet.
Okay.
But they would not have fit to the stuff that ended up on the God Machine. So instead of just disrupting the flow that the album has, we decided to just hold them back and see what happens. So at some point, I'm pretty sure they will see the light of day, but I don't know yet when that will be. And I also don't know yet if I'm rather sure we will still work on them, so they might still change into whatever. I don't know yet, but we wanted the God Machine to have a certain flow, and those songs would not have fit to that.
Right. And the style of those songs were like progressive, right?
It's like not necessarily, there's one song that was really freaky. Progressive fits it pretty well, but they all sounded like Blind Guardian songs. It's not that we were doing something completely different, but they just did not fit to the other stuff. So that's it's hard to describe something like this if you don't know the songs, because obviously but they would not have fit to that.
Okay, great. I want to ask you if you think that the God Machine it's a good album to introduce a new fan into the career of the band. I think that maybe because it's like a heavy stuff and all the things that you sound like in the 80s or in the 90s, but I don't know which album do you think is more accessible.
I think God Machine is probably not that bad to introduce somebody to us, because I mean it has pretty much everything that Blind Guardian stands for. You know, it has all the aggression and heaviness that early Blind Guardian had. It has epic songs like Secrets of the American Gods. You know, it has, you know, more progressive stuff like Destiny. So it's a bit of everything. You know, there's not something like the Bard song on there, which we didn't do on purpose because there already is a Bard song. Why write a second one? But I think it pretty much represents what we are all about, especially, you know, what we're about in this point in time. So I think if somebody wants to check us out, that would not be a bad choice.
Okay. Oh, great, great. You are confirmed to the Wacken in the next year, right? So
Yes.
I want to ask you, sometimes in the festivals, the bands used to put a little effort in the visuals. Are you planning something for the big festivals, or are you playing like you always do?
To be honest, we didn't even talk about that yet. I mean, what we did now, I mean, the tour just started in September, so I think we did 40 shows by now. We had pyros with us, we had lasers with us, and lights and all that stuff. The
Okay.
problem is if you're doing this on a regular tour, you always run into venues where you're not allowed to use that.
Yeah.
So there were several venues when we arrived. They said, "No, sorry, you can't use the pyros, for example, because whatever, the ceiling is not high enough or the fans are too close to the stage."
Exactly.
Same thing about the lasers. And so you carry a lot of shit with you, and in the end, you know, it stays on the truck because the locals tell
Yeah.
you, "No, sorry, not gonna happen here," which
Okay.
is a shame.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a festival like Wacken or any of the other big festivals, you know in advance what you can do, and so this is more plannable. Let's put it like this. And I'm pretty sure we'll build something nice. You know, we might bring more lasers, more pyros, more whatever. There will be something. What exactly that will be, we didn't talk about that yet. You know, I mean, we're still mentally, the tour just started for us, and you know, Wacken is still far away. So we'll have a break of about 6 weeks or something like that when we come back from South America. So
Okay.
we might start planning things in that break, or maybe even later only. But there will be some nice visuals for sure.
Okay. So we hope to see you soon here in South America.
We'll
Even
be
though
there.
so if you want to send any greetings to your fans, this is the moment.
Of course. I mean, last South American tour has been quite some time ago. So we're really looking forward to return. And we know that we have super passionate fans over there. So we can't wait to be back, present the new album to you guys, play the classics, play some unexpected songs.
Great, great.
So I hope to see all you guys there, and we'll have a great time together.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Marcus.
You're very
See you
welcome.
soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.